Consumers caught in a triple stack of pain, they write over at Axios, Neil Irwin. The national average for a gallon of gas is over $4, or in the neighborhood of $4. That's up from in the neighborhood of $3 a month ago. You know, Trump so badly blew this. I saw a clip, a little reel of, you know, put together clips of Donald Trump at various times over the last couple of weeks going, nobody could have said that they were shut off the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody could have predicted that they would attack the other Arab states, you know. And of course, you know, his generals and everybody told him that this is exactly what was going to happen. Everybody except Whiskey Pete. I mean, you know, Whiskey Pete has just got such insane bloodlust. This guy loves killing people. It's just, you know, it's, I don't know. You look up evil in the dictionary, and there's a picture of the two of them. But anyway, it's backfiring badly. The price of gasoline is through the roof. Electricity prices, you know, this is year over year, basically for the last 12 months. Electricity prices up 4.8% nationwide. Natural gas up 10.9% nationwide. These higher energy prices, of course, are going to ripple through the economy. We saw this in a big way back in the 70s. Those of you old enough to remember, I realize most of you aren't, but I can tell you it was wild. And we saw just this absolutely massive inflation because, you know, oil really is everything. Our crops are, you know, we're basically eating oil, right? I mean, oil drives the machines that plant the crops. Oil provides the raw material for the pesticides, the herbicides, and the fertilizers that you know, allow the crops to grow. Oil is used to harvest the crops. Oil is used to, you know, or gasoline or diesel or whatever, used to transport those crops for processing. Oil generates, in most cases, the electricity that is used for the processing. Oil then transports the finished product to the store. Then you drive to the store in your gasoline-powered car. So, you know, at every stage, virtually, for pretty much every product, I was just using the example of food there, but you know, pick a product. It's the same thing. Everything is oil at the end of the day. And, you know, oil being up 25%, it's going to hurt. Grocery prices are up 3.9% over last year, and that's going to get a whole hell of a lot worse. One of the things that obviously Donald Trump had no clue about, most Americans didn't realize, is that much of the world's fertilizer, about a quarter of the world's fertilizer, comes out of the Middle East, and it has to pass through the Straits of Hormuz. And that is all, you know, frozen. U.S. inflation was predicted to be 3% this year. Now the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, you know, the 34 richest nations in the world, they've got their own economists. They do all these predictions. They're saying that the U.S. inflation rate is going to be 4.2% this year. And that's assuming things don't get worse, right? That's assuming that Trump doesn't, like, commit ground troops, which is just, like, flat out flaming insane. Iran fought a war with Iraq that lasted 8 years and killed 1 million people on each side. These guys, you know, they are absolutely not going to roll over and say, oh yeah, the you know, thousands of years of the Persian Empire, we'll just end it and we'll become just, you know, whatever you say. It ain't going to happen. It was never going to happen. It wasn't going to happen at the hands of Saddam Hussein. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at the hands of Donald Trump. It ain't going to happen. We have seen since 2020, now we have seen inflation go up 25%, which means the value of the dollar is down by 25%. 25% since 2020. Now, a lot of that had to do with the pandemic and the loss of demand for a little over a year, and then the explosion of demand following that. We saw the exact same thing, or very similar. I don't know that the numbers were exact, but they were probably fairly close. after World War II and after World War I. In both cases, because there had been this suppression of demand during the war and availability. And then, an explosion of demand after the war, and that, and availability hadn't quite caught up, and so you get more dollars chasing fewer goods, and that's what that does, is drives prices up or drives the value of the dollar down, as the case may be. So we're looking at that. The job market is weak. If you set aside jobs having to do with building AI plants, basically there hasn't been a new job created since Trump became president, because he's done so much damage to our economy. Even at that, there basically have been no jobs since he started his tariff nonsense on Liberation Day in what was that, early April or late March, as I recall. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey, which was released last Friday, says that back in February, people were expecting 3.8% inflation. Now they're expecting 3.4%. Excuse me. Now they're expecting 3.8%. The S&P is down 7% for the year. Remember when Pam Bondi was testifying before Congress, and they asked her if there was any evidence that Donald Trump was committing crimes with underage girls, and she started yelling about, "Have you seen the Dow? It's over 50,000. I mean, that's what we should be talking about." Well, the Dow is not over 50,000 anymore. And the 30-year fixed rate mortgage is back up. It's it was down below 6% for a short while there. Everybody thought, oh, the housing market might recover. And it's 6.64% right now. So, here we are. Meanwhile, House Republicans are looking at, cutting your health care to pay for bombs. I mean, Jody Arrington, he's the budget chairman, rebooted this plan to cut Affordable Care Act subsidies. Now, the big, beautiful bill, he says with quotation marks and irony, already cut Affordable Care Act subsidies, which caused I believe, about 1 million people to lose their health insurance, and just say, sorry, we're just going to be uninsured now going forward. And it's going to get worse. They have to come up with $200 billion. This could leave another 300,000 Americans uninsured just to pay for the war. For 6 days of the war, it cost us $11 billion. And now Trump's got 50,000 troops in the region. This is play money to him. This is a guy who bankrupted casinos. Now, people talk about that as if he was like a bad businessman or something, but in my opinion, what he was doing was he was running money laundering operations. In fact, he got busted for it. He had to pay a huge fine for running money laundering operations out of his casinos in New Jersey. The officials in Nevada refused to give him a gaming license because he was so connected to so many mob figures. I mean, this guy has been a career criminal his whole entire life. And now the Republicans are talking about Medicaid cuts, too. Now, we've got this 2-week period here, this Easter break, this Easter recess, where both in the House and the Senate are off. And Democrats are going to be in their districts doing town halls. And, if you're represented by a Democrat, show up and say some nice things to them and encourage them to come on this program, by the way. The door is open. Any Democratic member of Congress who wants to come on this program for any random hour and take calls from our listeners, we don't push it. We don't reach out to them, but it's available. So let them know. Let them know. Tell them I said hi. And if you have a Republican, then Bernie's old advice, and I know a number of people have tried this over the years, and in some cases it works very well. Check with your local high school and see if you can rent the auditorium. Typically they're free, or if there's a library that's got an auditorium or a large room, or if whatever. If you can find a space, a meeting space, and nail it down for sometime in the next 2 weeks, and then invite your Republican member of Congress, congressman or congresswoman, to come and address their constituents. And when they don't show up, you know, put a picture of them or a empty chair or a puppet or something, you know, like that. There's a lot you can do. But is the Republican Party going to cut your health care to pay for the bombs? You betcha. As Sarah Palin used to say, you betcha. It's incredible. It's just incredible what's going on.